What's up YouTube, it's Heretic here, and welcome back. Today we are looking at our first post-rotation deck video here as we go on towards the Primal Clash-On rotation, which will take place after the World Championships here at the end of this month. And so the big deck, or at least one of the big decks that a lot of people I know have been hyping up for the new rotation is Mega Rayquaza, so that's the one we're going to look at first. So our list here is pretty basic. It's mostly consistency stuff, limited techs, maybe like really just one tech card, I think, maybe two if you consider Jirachi to be tech. But we're gonna start out. We have a 4/4 Mega Rayquaza line. In past builds, 3/3 has usually been the preference or the preferred count. However, just going with more consistency here, going into a new format without Battle Compressor, some things you got to run more of, some things, you got to kind of make your decisions here. We also lose Sacred Ash, and since we didn't get Karen, I do want to have that extra basic Pokemon as well. You could definitely play a 4/3 line. I could see that working. But for now, we're going 4/4 Mega Rayquaza, and for those of you guys who don't remember, his attack, Emerald Break, does 30 damage times the number of your bench Pokemon for 3 colorless. And with Skyfield, that means you can deal a total of 240 damage, which is enough to take out anything that isn't Wailord or something ridiculous with a Fighting Fury belt. I don't know what you could belt that would take it over 240, besides Wailord, which is already there. We also run the colorless Rayquazas now instead of the dragon ones. Big reason being that I feel that both of the attacks on this Rayquaza are superior to the ones that are on the dragon type Rayquaza, the basic. However, the reason we were running the dragon one before was because of Night March and to a lesser extent Mega Manectric. But since both of those are out of format, we can go back to running this one. So that's pretty fun. We got 4 Shamans, of course, just draw power like always. Rayquaza, extra bench space, need for less supporters. You guys get what I'm saying. So after that, we're looking at a 2/2 line of Zoroark. I opted not to run the Zoroark break, but instead to run the 4th Mega Rayquaza. You could try to see if you want to do something else with that slot as well. I felt like basically a stage 2 and Zoroark break wasn't really necessary since we're not really relying on it. It's more of a gimmick. But stand-in plus a float stone is always good, and in the mirror match, when both benches are loaded up and Rayquazas are exchanging knockouts with each other with Emerald Break, you can bring this guy up instead and take a knockout on a fully benched 7+ bench Rayquaza player with Mind Jack. As 7 bench Pokemon plus the 10 base would equal 220 damage, and you'd have a knockout. So, also good just against like Rainbow Road and other things that load their bench, Not too bad to have. Plus it makes a great non-EX attacker, which the deck kind of needs that. We also have the one Jirachi for Stardust. Not as powerful as it was before Pokemon Ranger, but still a pretty good card. Energy Denial is always good. And again, it is a single prize, single energy attacker, which is pretty good to have. And then finally, 3 Hoopas. Xander Bennett, thanks for convincing me to play 3 and not just 2. So yeah, even if you do start with one, which when you play 3 it's going to happen, but you still got a couple more left to pull your combos out. We go into our items here. We got 3 Mega Turbos for energy acceleration, get our energy ready for Emerald Break, and then we got 3 Trainer's Mail, because we really didn't, it should be 4, we didn't have room for the 4th one, so I opted to cut 1 to go down to 3, and then 4 Ultra Ball and 4 VS Seeker, pretty standard. 1 Super Rod. This is again another thing where I could see maybe cutting the 4th Mega, and then maybe you cut like the 4th Spirit Link and you put in one of the cards I think I would put in as a 2nd Super Rod there. Definitely something this deck could use. And then 1 Special Charge, which I like just in case you have to throw out double colorless energies early. Kind of nice to be able to retrieve those. And this is a deck that I think can definitely benefit from a single copy of Special Charge. You might notice no Puzzle of Time. I'm not really a fan of Puzzle of Time in decks that don't run teammates. I understand why some people like it in Rayquaza. Personally, in this deck, I think you're better off just running the Special Charge, as it only uses up 1 card slot as well, as opposed to 4. Just my 2 cents. Supporter-wise, we have 3 Sycamores. Again, you could probably try to play 4. And then maybe that's the other card you added along with the 2nd Super Rod. And then we got 1 Hex, 1 Lysander, 1 N, 1 Ranger. We got 4 Skyfields, of course, 2 Float Stones, mainly for Zoroark, and then 4 Spirit Links since we run a 4/4. If you cut even 1 Mega, even if you leave the 4th basic Ray in there, you could probably also cut a Spirit Link. And then we have 3 Dark Energies and 4 double colorless. So really, I mean, typed attack-wise, I'm not really ever going to attack with Hoopa, and I'm not too worried about Dream Dance, so I'll take Moonless Madness instead. And if you do opt to run the Zoroark Break, more reason to have the Darkness Energy. Otherwise, just run whatever type you want. I just think it's probably the best choice given what we have. The goal is pretty much the same as always. Play Skyfield, set up Mega Rayquaza real quickly, take advantage of Delta Evolution to evolve it on the first turn, and just do a, just overload with, just do like however much damage you need to get OHKOs, and just do it every turn. In Expanded, you don't even need Sycamore because you have Colress, which is just stupid. But that's a whole different beast. So we're looking at the new standard variant, obviously, and we're going to go ahead and take it into battle against a Xerneas Break Giratina deck. So we're going to play best of 3 and see how well we can do. So let's go ahead and get into it. We will go ahead and go first. He had us go first before, and it was kind of a wonky start, I think, on both sides here. He says, I was wondering what happened. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so we see a Max Elixir, 3 Fairy Energies, a Double Dragon, a Super Rod, and a Sycamore. I may or may not do the same thing. That's good. I guess it's good to know it's not just me. So we'll get an extra card to start with, and we will not put the Hoopa on the bench. At least not until it's our turn. Now I think we will. So we'll go ahead and do that, and let's see what we can pull here. Let's get a couple of Rays, and we don't have a Shaman, so maybe good to grab one of those. Because we don't really have much in our hand right now, so we're going to have to Shaman for a lower count here. So we go Rayquaza, get a double colorless down, throw that into play. Oh, this is ugly. This is really ugly. That'd be a setup for 1 if we were to do it. You know what? I'm going to give him the turn and hope that we draw something burnable, or maybe he counter stadiums us. Okay, an N. That'll work. It gets rid of that atrocious hand we were looking at. Probably should have gone for the Mega Evolution. But we get a much better hand this time. We've got a Spirit Link, another Rayquaza, Jirachi, a Shaman, another double colorless, so that's pretty solid. We see an Ultra Ball here, discarding Super Rod and Sycamore for a Shaman. So that will undoubtedly hit the bench for a 3-card setup. We see another Ultra Ball here. We'll see if he goes for the Giratina, which is really going to be his ace here, and very fortunate we have both Hex Maniac and Pokemon Ranger at our disposal. So we see a Special Charge and a Max Elixir go the way of the dinosaur this time. And another Xerneas comes out. We see a Max Elixir here. So an Energy will go onto that bench to Xerneas. And we'll see a Geomancy. So 4 Energy on the first turn is pretty good. I have no idea why it shuffles after the first Energy. That seems really silly. But in any case, it's our turn now, and we top deck a Sycamore. Okay, that's darn good. Alright, so we're going to get another Ray down. And we're going to get an attachment here. Oh, I almost don't want to play that double colorless. Let's just do the Shaman here and see if we can kind of run from that point. Okay, so we get the Hex Maniac. Let's play this Trainer's Mail. So we get Ranger. I'm thinking probably Floatstone here. We can always grab the Hex back later. And we can Shaman again for another 2. Hopefully we don't draw another double colorless. Okay, 2 Darkness. Perfect. So what we're going to do then is get one of these attached, and that's going to give us one for Mega Turbo as well. And we're going to hope we hit a Mega Evolution here so we can start dealing some knockouts. Okay. Beautiful hand. Absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to get the Mega Rayquaza into play. We're also going to get, let's see, we can't Mega Turbo just yet. That one doesn't have a Spirit Link, or else I'd be all about making that play right now. Instead, I think we're just going to retreat Zorua, and we're going to go ahead and do our first Emerald Break. So we get 210 damage. We draw a backup Skyfield, which is good since we have a Shaman and a Hoopa in hand, and a couple of burnable cards to boot. So we do see the Fairy Garden come down, so we're immediately going to throw this Hoopa out. And we'll get rid of one of our Shamans as well. And just kind of keep the core of our stuff on the bench along with one Shaman. We do see Giratina with a Fighting Fury Belt, and so he's going to immediately retreat into Giratina. So we'll go ahead and put Zoroark down. And let's see what we got here. We can knock the stadium out, give ourselves some more plays. And we can also go... I think we'll go with the Shaman for that. And do we want to really do anything with the Hoopa? We could just search for a Mega, but that would end our turn. I think we're just going to go ahead and draw 2. Okay, so that's gonna... Well, no, it's actually not really gonna do much. We could go get the last Shaman, I suppose. It's not the worst thing in the world. And we do have another Mega Ray, which if we had a Spirit Link would be a wonderful search. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that down. And that will give us enough damage. And, oh, it would have been nice to hit a VS Seeker. So we can go ahead and throw that right there. And we can go grab the Mega now. So we'll search, grab the Mega Rayquaza out of the deck. And we can go ahead and put that into play. And then we can Mega Turbo onto it. That'll get us set up close. Now we've got Super Rod, which we could use to put the Shaman and the Hoopa back in this instance, which I think is probably going to be a better idea here since we're going to need them at some point. Maybe you could argue that we should hold that for next turn, but let's see if we can't try to at least draw into something. And that didn't go over too well. So, again, stuck with only this energy, we could get the... We could get the Jirachi ready. I think in this situation, though, we're just going to stand in, and then we're going to retreat into this Rayquaza and just deal a little bit of damage this way. So we can do an intensifying burn there, lay down 60. And he, of course, with him top decking, I think that's not the worst situation to be in. And so he's saying, so he top decked, okay, so he top decked an N. That's alright. Rather that than the Sycamore, because we have another shot at a VS Seeker here. And we got it. Alright. So he's going to get some stuff set up, which is cool. We'll see a Max Elixir. So we can get a 4th energy back onto the board. And we do have another basic Pokemon, and as well as an Ultra Ball, should we lose our active positioning. So we're just going to bring one of the Megas out, because if he does play the Fairy Garden, we don't want to lose anything crucial here. We're going to see another Geomancy, it looks like. Attaches an energy onto not Xerneas, Giratina. So he's going to be up to 6 energy after this Geomancy. We see 1 onto Shaman and probably 1 to Giratina. Yep, there it is. Okay. And that's all cool. That 60 damage is going to become big, because now with the 210, including the Fighting Fury Belt, this thing is at 150, which is exactly my damage cap if I do not have Skyfield. So that's actually a pretty big deal. And we do have the Hex in the discard pile. So I think for now we can stand in and simply knock out the Xerneas. We'll just go ahead and do an Emerald Break here. Get the full 240 damage. And the reason that that's a big deal to hit 150 is because Chaos Wheel would lock us out of our stadium. So instead, Xerneas is going to come up again. So maybe we'll see Xerneas break here. We do see Sycamore. So, okay, looks like another Sycamore and another Fairy Energy. We see another Xerneas hit the bench. A double Dragon Energy goes on to Giratina. And if he has the Garden, he can hit us with the Chaos Wheel. But instead, he discards the energy to do it. So we take a Chaos Wheel for 110, which is half our HP now. But he's in a position where he doesn't have that much energy left. And we are in a wonderful spot here. We can VS Seeker for this Hex Maniac and take control here. Because he's going to have a tough time getting another attacker ready in time before we can just start rolling. So we will just Hex and then deal 240, claiming 2 more prize cards. And so he brings up a Xerneas here. And this is where we want to start digging for our Lysander, try to finish this game off. So he plays a VS Seeker, so we're going to get N down to 2 here. Which really isn't that too surprising. However, we're still in a decent spot, and he didn't bring up the Shaman, so he's not gunning for a Sky Return right now. We do get Fairy Gardens, so we're going to go ahead and drop Hoopa. Let's see, we need to get rid of 2 of our Shamans, so let's just maintain the one that has the Float Stone. And we'll be doing 150 now instead of 240, which is a difference, but we're still OHKOing right now since there's no Giratina. So we do see Xerneas break, go down onto the bench, and then we'll see Geomancy. So he'll get 2 energy out of the deck, 1 onto the Shaman, and then 1 onto the Xerneas break. However, he's going to lose an energy right here, assuming we don't top a Lysander. Okay. So we can go ahead at this point. Let's see, we do have the 4th Shaman back in the deck, which is good to know because of the Ultra Ball we've got. So we can Emerald Break here for a knockout. And if he can get 2 energies on the board, he'll be able to knock us out. I'll have to hit a Max Elixir, presumably, and then also the attachment from hand. So we draw a mostly useless Rayquaza Spirit Link, but we'll still be able to play it. And we're going to get N down to 1, so this Ultra Ball thing is not sticking. We see a EXP share go on to the active Pokemon. Interesting. And then we're going to get N down to 1 measly card. But it's a double colorless, so that's not too bad. We can throw it down onto Mega Ray and Whale. So we do see also a Giratina come down with a double dragon, which is just going to kind of sit there and laugh at us. So we're going to play this Trainer's Mail and hope for a VS Seeker, which we're not going to get. So we'll just grab an Ultra Ball. And we can use Stand-In here. And then retreat into a regular Rayquaza. And, oh man, is it tempting as ever to use Dragon Pulse here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 120 would be 160. Yeah, I'm down with it. We'll Dragon Pulse. So we lose a VS Seeker, unfortunately, that would have been the game. And then a Trainer's Mail and a Hoopa. But 1 more Dragon Pulse unless he lays down a Fighting Fury Belt, and we do have the game. So we see another Sycamore. 2 Xerneas breaks go into the discard pile now. So we're starting to see more and more cards go away. There's another Giratina, which he can free retreat into. A lot of stuff, though. 3 Max Elixirs gone. Super Rod, I believe, is gone. Yep, 2 Super Rods gone, actually. And 6 Fairy Energies, and then a Double Dragon also gone. So lots of stuff not hanging around. And I think the worst thing here for us would be a Fighting Fury Belt and then a Double Dragon Energy, which would put 111 damage on us and prevent us from OHKOing him in return. So we are going to see the Double Dragon and the Chaos Wheel, but he doesn't have the belt, so that is going to be the game. So we're going to say good game. He does as well, and we're going to Dragon Pulse for the win. So Rayquaza itself, you know, and again, the colorless Rayquaza proving its worth over its dragon counterpart here in this matchup against Giratina, and just doing its job, doing the thing that Mega Rayquaza cannot do, and that is go through Giratina without a Hex Maniac or other form of ability denial in play. So we got that game, and I mean, the setup was a little bumpy a couple times, but we didn't give up any prizes, so we had a pretty solid run there. And so that just kind of shows you the power of Mega Rayquaza as we go into the Primal Clash on format. So we'll go ahead and try one more game and see what happens. Okay, so we're going into game 2 here. So I'm going to go ahead and, since we won the first game, I'm going to let our opponent choose who gets to go first. Okay, so he wants to go first. And we're going to start with a Hoopa. And I guess when you run 3 of them, that's just something that's going to happen from time to time. Fortunately, we have an Ultra Ball to grab another Hoopa, which is something you really want to have, I think, at all times. So he's going to attach an energy to Xerneas, Ultra Ball here. So we see Hex Maniac and Double Dragon go to the discard pile. And actually, if he doesn't VS Seeker that Hex, because then we'd be in a decent spot. If he does Hex us, though, that's going to hurt, because that will set us back an entire turn, essentially. So instead he plays an N. Now, we lose a pretty good hand off that, but I'd still rather him play that N and N away that hand as good as it was rather than Hex us. So we see a EXP share go on to the Benchet Xerneas, which is a pretty solid play. And this is nowhere near as good as the hand we had. Ugh, that's not good. Alright, we're going to go ahead and lay that down. And we might have to start making some kind of silly plays here. We could try to get some draws off this Shaman, which I think we really need to. So we're going to put a double colorless energy on this Hoopa. And, oh, Jesus. Alright, yeah, we'll just take the 2 cards. Alright, that did not help. So we can throw a Spirit Link on a Shaman, I guess, in case we want a Sky Return, and we're going to have to Sycamore the rest of this out. So we're going to have to manage our bench carefully this game. So we're down 2 Sky Fields now. And the hand we draw is... Oh my goodness. I don't even want to look at that. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn. This is puke-worthy, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get Ultra Ball here. Well, he's going to get an Ultra Ball. So let's see if he goes for the Giratina this time. We see a Fairy Energy and a Xerneas break. Maybe a Shaman. Okay, yep. So he is going to pull the Shaman, knock our Stadium out. That's fine. I mean, we were going to lose both of those Stadiums one way or another. So we're going to see a Shaman here for 4. And let's see. That end definitely was painful. Not saying I would have liked to have been hexed on turn 1, but if it could have gotten us out of the end, it might have actually not been so bad. So Shaman's going to get an energy, so we're probably just going to see another Geomancy. You see Super Rod, so the Fairy Energy and the Xerneas-EX are both going to go back into the deck. Sycamore, discarding a Fairy Energy, another Super Rod, and another Double Dragon. Xerneas to the bench. And here comes another Max Elixir, so now 3 energies on board. And that's going to become 5 here in a moment, which is a pretty handy setup. That'll be 100 damage already on the board for Xerneas Break to lay down on each of its attacks. So we'll see each Xerneas here presumably getting an energy. And of course this one also has the EXP share. So we're going to draw into more stuff we don't want. So I'm going to play an N here because I don't want to discard a Zoroark and 2 Mega Rayquazas when we don't have a Super Rod. So we're going to draw into not much. So we'll attach this. If Ninja Boy wasn't suspended, I would add Ninja Boy. Oh yeah. If Ninja Boy wasn't suspended, I might be running it too. Send a Hoopa back into the deck easily. Be a way to get our Zoroark out. Okay, so we do get an Ultra Ball off of that Trainer's Mail. So we got something, at least. And we do have a Darkness in the discard, which we could probably put another one there, realistically. I'm not too bent out of shape about that. Let's see, we don't have any way to draw cards here, otherwise I would just go and grab a another Shaman, although we will be Sky returning, so I suppose I can be okay with... Just go ahead and grab the Hoopa. We'll go ahead and use it, and we'll get, let's see, we definitely need to pull a couple of those. Let's pull a Shaman, I suppose. Well, let me see. Can only bench 2. We're going to Sky return. We're going to have that Shaman back in our hands. We really don't need that. Let's get another Mega. So we can do one of these. Go ahead and throw the Spirit Link on it. Mega Evolve it. And then we'll get an energy off of the Mega Turbo. We can put the other Rayquaza down here and actually pay the silly retreat cost. And this is going to get us a Spirit Link back for next turn, too. So we will Sky return. And I think in this instance, let's see, he's got 5 energy, so it'll probably be at least a 6th one. Potentially up to 7, which is 140. Oh, man. I don't know what to give him here. This is not an easy spot to be in. I suppose since we're going to be Shamaning, we can just put something useless up front for now. The loss of Super Scoop Up, Cassius, and AZ is not friendly to a lot of things. They got to bring at least one of those suckers back in evolutions. So we see another EXP share. He chooses to put it on the active one, which says he's probably going to retreat to the one that already has 2 energy. But we are going to be able to empty our hand out, barring, you know, depending on what we draw on our next turn, and then Shaman for hopefully 6, if not at least 5 cards if we don't get end here. So we see a Fairy Energy go down onto the Giratina. So he's now got 6 energy, which is 120, but he is going to end us. Oh, no, he's not. He's going to Hex us instead. Okay. So he's going to keep us from drawing, and just instead, rather than try to go for a hit, he's just going to Geomancy here. We'll get 1 on the Giratina and 1 on the Shaman. So that'll bring it back to our turn, and we draw another Mega, which doesn't really do much for us. I suppose we could hold the Spirit Link and just do a turn-ending Mega Evolution. We'll go ahead and play the double colorless, and I think we'll actually do that. Really no need to use the Spirit Link now when we could potentially draw into a Sky Field and another basic Ray to bring another Mega out, still having the Spirit Link in hand. We also do have one of them now fully charged up and ready to go. We see Xerneas Break finally hit the table. Took a couple turns longer than I would have expected. And now we need to find our Hex Maniac here pretty soon, because that Giratina is eventually going to come up, and something tells me we're not going to get the benefit of using Dragon Pulse this time. So we're going to take a pretty big hit here. He's got 8 energies, and we're going to get hexed again. Oh my goodness. And Lifestream has actually got 9 energies. I miscounted. So he's going to knock us out. And we can go ahead here. Let's see. We're actually not doing enough to knock him out. So that's going to make life really awkward here. Because if he lays down a double dragon, he will be one-shotting us. We do draw a Sycamore, though, which is... can be very thankful for that. We get no ability off the Shaman, which is okay, since we're just going to Sycamore away anyway. We will get the knockout here, however. So that's good to see. We have only one of those in there, so let's go ahead and do Mega Turbo onto the benched Mega Ray. And we've got a solid setup here for next turn. We got VS Seeker, Special Charge, Zoroark. So we can just go ahead and knock out Xerneas break here. And he's going to get the benefit here of not 1 but 2 EXP shares. So he's going to keep all his energy on the board, meaning once again all he needs is a double dragon energy to initiate a knockout. So we do see another Xerneas go onto the bench. He's also going to need another Xerneas break here, which shouldn't be too tough. How many double... Okay, he's got 2 double dragons in the discard. So we see an Ultra Ball. So he's going to go get the Xerneas break. Discards Ranger and another Ultra Ball to go and get it. So that'll be half the combo right there. And then we see an N, so there goes our beautiful hand that we were sitting on. So does he get the double dragon here is the question. Of course, now we don't have the VS Seeker. He does get the double dragon, so now we're going to be looking at deep fried Rayquaza. Fortunately, we do have the return knockout. We will be able to take 1 energy off of his board in the process, but if we just get returned again, then good night. He's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 basic fairies on board, and there is another EXP share, so that would actually end the game. So we got to get creative now. Zoroark is dealing 160, but his resistance is going to put it down to 140, which is going to make it short of a KO. And this is where we miss Startling Megaphone. Go ahead and pull a Shaman from the deck and try to make something happen here. But I'm pretty sure we've lost this game. Okay, so we can Lysander maybe. Try to keep something from happening. Try to take one of the ones that has an EXP share. We can also Lysander up a Shaman here with 2 energies. We wouldn't be able to get rid of the energies, though. I think that's the big thing. Let's see. Down 2 double colorless. I think we just kind of got to take our chances here. And we can actually knock this one out with Zoroark. Got to appreciate having that 30 damage on there. Okay, so we get Skyfield, which I guess is somewhat helpful. Of course, if he has, let's see, he would need just a Lysander realistically is enough to end the game. So instead he plays a Sycamore, so he throws away 2 Fairy Gardens. So he should be down to only 1 garden now, assuming he runs 4. So he is going to switch out into Giratina, which is going to give us headaches. So now we need to hit a Darkness Energy, or top deck a double colorless. And I emphasize top deck, unless we hit a Shaman or something. Ultra Ball. So meanwhile, we're gonna have to bring one of our Shamans up, and we draw into a Mega Turbo. Okay, that is not really what we needed. We can't even play the Skyfield here, so we can't attach double colorless. I mean, I suppose we can go ahead and drop the Mega Turbo. And let's see, we only got 1 VS Seeker gone, so we could still do something with VS Seeker. Is our N in here? Yes, it is. Alright, so I think that's probably going to be the play. Could try to end him down to 1. I think, as much as I'd like to just be able to Sycamore for it here, I think we do have to try to play the N. primarily because he's got too many cards in his hand. So we do draw the Jirachi, but we don't draw the second half. So we can go ahead and bench the Jirachi. And we also forgot to play the Floatstone, so it's whatever. I mean, we lost this one. So he's just going to play cards now. Alright, and life stream for 220, so we're going to get KO'd. That's going to be the game. So we're going to go into game 3. We'll go first for game 3 here. And we're going to start with a mulligan. And I guess that's probably for the better, because that's not really the hand I wanted to start with. Oh my goodness. Alright, we got basics this time. Okay. We got all the basics we could ever ask for in this one. Alright. Not bad. Not bad. Let's go ahead and get some stuff in play. We can put Jirachi on the bench. Let's go ahead and just Mega Evolve right now. Alright, and we'll go ahead and do a setup for 4. Let's see if we can't get ourselves a little bit bigger stuff going on here. So we do hit another Spirit Link, it looks like, but that's about it. Ugh. Gross. Disgusting. I guess we get to Hex him. That's fun. Yeah, we'll probably just go with that. We'll do the Hex Maniac, and we'll pass. And we're sitting on a pair of VS Seekers here, so why does Compressor have to be gone? Oh my goodness. So there's a Giratina, and there's an Ultra Ball. So a Sycamore and an EXP share go the way of the dinosaur this time. Or the way of the Aerodactyl. So we see another Xerneas come out. And immediately goes onto the bench, gets an EXP share. And there's VS Seeker for the Sycamore that was previously discarded, so he'll go ahead and play that, discarding Double Dragon and Xerneas Break. Still digging for that Fairy energy, I see. So we see a third Xerneas come down, a Max Elixir. Let's see. He's got to have one by now. Okay, there we go. Yep. So, Fairy Energy onto Xerneas on the bench. But none in hand, so no attack. Yikes. So we do get another Mega Rayquaza here. And we're just going to Hex him again. Because that's about all we got. Just play that Hex and pass the turn. Only I am capable of whiffing a Fairy Energy on an important Geomancy turn. My hand stinks. Gotta remember the sensors on this thing. So if he plays a special charge here, he's going to get that one Double Dragon out, which is probably going to Sycamore again here. We do see Fairy Garden. And so I guess it's good to see that he played the first Stadium. So when we're attacking Xerneas, even Xerneas Break, I really don't think, at least not with Rayquaza, we really don't need to be sky fielding. We do see another Fairy Garden go away though. He does get his energy on his active Xerneas, so we are going to see a Geomancy and a total of 4 energies. I'm guessing, yeah, and then the other one probably on the Giratina, I would think. There we go. Okay, so 1 energy on each Pokemon. There's an Ultra Ball. That is huge. And now we can try to make stuff happen. And we could go for the Hoopa here. I think I'm just going to go for the pure 6 cards, only because we would only get 1 slot before the Hoopa. You know, we could try to save that for when we've got more stuff. So let's just go ahead and grab 6 cards off the top and see if we can't start taking some KOs. Alrighty. There we go. Go ahead and... Probably didn't need to play that, but he's down now. He should have, what, 2 stadiums in his discard now? Yeah, I'm okay with that. We'll get another one of those, and we should still have a Super Rod available. So we can Ultra Ball here, dump a couple of those out. And we're just going to pull a Shaman again. There's no need to really grab the Hoopas right now. Don't want to overextend too much. Just kind of keep a steady hand supply going. We do get that. Alright, so we can... Okay. We completely whiffed on that. Alright. So we might as well... Well, you know what? I'm actually going to hold on to that. And so we're just going to Emerald Break then for 180. We'll get a knockout. He'll get to maintain his energy, but I don't think his damage cap is nearly ready for a Rayquaza that's OHKOing all of his Xerneas. He can stall with Giratina for a time if he wants to. But his damage cap is just not quite at the point to where it can deal with Rayquaza just yet. So we got definitely a fast start off that Ultra Ball top deck. Big benefits there. So instead he brings up the Xerneas with 1 energy. We'll see an Ultra Ball. And he's actually going to get to Shaman here, which is something I think he might have been waiting to do for a turn or two. 2 turns of Hex to open up the game is definitely rough. We're down 2 VS Seekers, so we still have 2 left. We just need to be able to draw into a Hex Maniac to take out Giratina. If we can convince him to load his Benchet enough, though, we might be able to just do it with Zoroark if we hit Super Rod. So we do see a Fairy Garden, and so we're just going to discard one of our Shamans here. He's also now 1 energy away from a Chaos Wheel, which is a little scary. And we also see an EXP share go on to Giratina, so next knockout, that thing's coming up for a Chaos Wheel. We're going to have to be ready for that. We have a rather interesting hand here ourselves. Not really anything we can work with, unfortunately. So I think our best course of action, trying to decide if we want to try and Stardust or if we want to just go for the intensifying burn on this thing. The Hex Maniac, of course, is the most appealing option. We do see a Max Elixir fail. The second one, I think he's probably hit this one since he's taken some time. So we get an energy on Shaman, and he could have just gone for the Chaos Wheel right there, too. We do see a Break Evolution on Xerneas, and we will see a Geomancy, so probably Shaman and Giratina here. 1 on Shaman, and 1 on the Giratina, so 2, 4, 8, 9, so 180 damage now. We do draw into the double colorless, which is very helpful. So we can... which way do we want to do this? We do have the... Okay, we'll still have 1 of our Mega Turbos left. So we will go ahead, I think, and play that, and then we're just going to Sycamore. Not too fond of losing all those basics, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, even when it sucks. Ugh. Which in this case, it really does. So maybe we can play this game without Zoroark. In any case, we've got a pretty solid hand sitting here, so we're just gonna Emerald Break again. We have the Darkness Energy for next turn. We also have the VS Seeker to grab the Hex Maniac. So we see the energy go over to the Break Xerneas, and we draw N off the prizes, which is usually a pretty good card to have. Shaman comes up, and he'll be able to free retreat that. We also would need to hit a Skyfield if we wanted to wipe the Giratina, and of course we're going to get End right out of this beautiful hand we're sitting on, so there goes that effort. Not going to get too much off of that N. I guess one thing we do get is the energy to be able to hit with either Intensifying Burn or Stardust, considering we're probably getting locked out here. Also have a Mega Turbo so we can afford to retreat. See an Ultra Ball there, discard a couple of supporters, Ranger and Sycamore, another Giratina, there's a double Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh my goodness, 220 damage. Alright, well, we can return the 220. Well, no, we're only doing 150. Oh boy. And that's short of a knockout. Oh man. How bad can it get? Ugh. I'm not sure. It gets pretty bad. This is pretty darn bad. Oh my goodness. I think we might end up losing this game because of that N. Man, that really put the nail in the coffin where it hurt. Yikes. We can turbo here. Maintain an energy in our hand. But I don't know what else we can do here. If only he did 20. Could do, you know, we could do 30 damage or 40 damage, whatever. You know, maybe this thing had 140 HP. We could Stardust it and then come up and wail on it. But oh my gosh. That's ugly. Yeah, we're just gonna use that turboed energy to retreat, I think. Probably shouldn't have brought him up. And evolution. Hope we don't regret that. That N was brutal. My goodness. Not really sure why we Mega Evolved him, to be honest. All our Mega Turbos are gone. Oh, and he's just going to go ahead and throw the escape rope at us. Alright. And he's got free retreat, so he's basically got command of the board. No questions asked. There's a Super Rod. So we'll see some energy, if there's any even in there, and then probably some Xerneas come back. Okay, so Xerneas line and 1 energy. And where are all our sky fields at? That's another thing. We've got one. We've only played, I think, 2 supporters this entire game. Hex and Sycamore. I know we don't run very many of them, but you'd think with 21 cards left in deck, we'd have seen more than just 2 of them. I see a VS Seeker here for a Hex Maniac, so now if we draw a Shaman, that's not helping us. That said, oh no, we have 1 Shaman left. So we're going to get another life stream here for 220. Oh my goodness, this is gross. Okay, so we draw the Lysander this time. So I guess we can do that. We can bring the Shaman that has nothing on it out. Alright, let's do that. But we're still sitting on top in Top Deck City, and with, my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our basics in the discard, about to be 6. So it's going to be pretty tough to come back here, considering that we can't even fill our bench unless we hit Super Rod. So Giratina is going to come out instead. It's going to lock us down even further. We do have Pokemon Ranger handy, but I'm not sure how much that can do for us. Well, Max Elixir is played, so we see another energy onto the other Giratina. We will get Chaos Wheeled into Oblivion. And looking at this, oh my. Okay, so I'm not sure what we're supposed to do here. I guess we can bring up... Oh, jeez. We're doing a whopping 60 damage with Emerald Break. We can bring this thing up. And just hope that we... Well, no, he could just retreat to Xerneas and KO us. So that's going to be the game. So game 3, you know, really it wasn't looking too bad until we got end into a not good hand and rocked out from there. So he just kind of lit it up from that point. But that's a matchup. It's an interesting one, to say the least. Xerneas Break definitely proving it's very powerful. Being able to hit the numbers to deal with Mega Rayquaza, just really even a little more than I had expected. Of course, my testing with Darkrai, I think, kind of should have at least led me to believe that that was definitely possible. So really great deck. Like I said, with Xerneas Break, I've got a few variants. Still have my Dragon version. But I definitely am intrigued. I love the way he had his deck built, so we'll see how that translates, and hopefully I'll be able to get an updated Xerneas break list and some match videos up for you here pretty soon shortly as well. So that's all for now, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.